There we go. There we go. All right, I'm done fucking shit up. I'm not clicking on anything on
For
OBS the rest of the
now.
night. God damn it. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that was. So if you were watching the YouTube stream there, I accidentally started clicking other scenes while the music was going. And then I went back to the scene where we obviously have our opening, and it restarted the music, and it was an adventure. That's what it was. That was. It's not OLED
Yeah,
without some craziness.
Tim's in the chat right now saying you could hear a second song under the theme on YouTube.
Yeah. Ay ay ay. Oh
Yeah,
man.
so obviously Tim's not with us. He's with us in spirit in the chat there.
Yeah.
He's not feeling too well, so he's resting up.
We just had to convince him to go to bed as he's in the
Yeah.
chat.
Tim was like 20 times like, I mean, I can do it, guys. I can do it. No, Tim, go to bed.
Look, yeah, get some rest, buddy. It's okay.
Relax.
It's okay to get rest.
Give your voice a rest.
All right. Otherwise, he'd have been doing voices all night.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
he'd have been like, "Look what I can do."
Arthur Morgan mode.
Yeah, 100%. Oh man. Well, Justin, what's new for you this week, buddy? What'd you do?
Oh, brother. I, ages ago, pre-ordered the Dragon Ball Super Superhero Blu-ray on Crunchyroll,
Mm-hmm.
and I got it yesterday, and I went to my friend's house and watched it earlier today. And I had seen it in theaters before, and I was super happy to watch it again. And Piccolo finally gets the fucking respect he deserves in this movie, man.
I'm
That
gonna
kid's
be,
ass.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I've watched a DBZ. I don't know if I've ever watched a DBZ movie,
Really?
or I guess I
They,
shouldn't say DBZ, but DB like Dragon Ball
right.
movie. Um,
They're a very different experience from like watching the show.
I feel like all anime movies are to a point, because the
Not fucking Demon Slayer, dude.
I mean that's true. The animation in Demon Slayer in general is always like top tier, like every episode. So
I
I
just meant like I went and saw the most recent movie
yeah
with
yeah
Ty, and
yeah.
it was like an arc condensed into a movie. It's just like several chapters of the manga, but a movie of it, and I was like, huh, that's
It,
not what I was expecting at all.
yeah, well, because normally it's some spin-off thing. Like I don't know if you've
Yeah,
seen any of the My Hero Academia movies.
no,
Well, in one of them, not to like spoil the ending kind of thing, um, but Deku like gives One for All to Bakugo, or however the fuck you say his name, and they both have it at the same time in like the final fight, and it's
ooh,
fantastic. It's like the animation's gorgeous and everything, you know what I mean? And then it's not canon at all, right? And then like
right,
in the first one they had some cool characters in that movie, and like doesn't carry over into the show at all.
right.
I'm pretty sure it's not like I've actually read the manga up to where the anime is right now.
Oh, nice.
And so like as far as I know, that character, like one of the main female character that they introduced in that first movie, she's not part of the manga at all. Like it's just
Right,
just a
just
movie character kind of thing. Yeah,
non-canon.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. Like Demon Slayer was like, you know what, we're just gonna put like 10 to 15 chapters into this movie, cover this arc, and call it a day. You know what I mean? Instead of making a whole extra season. You know, like that's
Yeah.
I don't mind
Yeah,
that.
it's definitely interesting. I just really wasn't expecting it when I went into it.
Right.
It's like it starts off and there's like a whole like exposition of like what happened before,
Hmm.
and then it it had like a credit sequence for the exposition part, and then it was the
What?
movie. Like it's so weird, man. I
Oh
was so
man.
confused because like I hadn't seen the like previous movie either, so like
Right.
I was so lost. But it did rekindle my interest a little bit. I've been reading that manga a bit.
Yeah.
But that's how the Dragon Ball movies, like the Dragon Ball Z era movies, they
Hmm.
were all just like spin-off, non-canon,
Right.
crazy stuff going on.
Right.
But now with Dragon Ball Super, all of the Dragon Ball Super movies are canon,
Mm.
which is interesting.
Here's my question: can Goku just die already?
He's died a lot.
No, I mean like just be dead. Like, just permanently die. You know what I mean?
In the manga, they've been doing a lot of things that makes it feel like they're setting up to finally get away from Goku just saving the day every fucking time.
Oh my god.
And I pray that that's what's happening.
Well, here's the thing. They set it up before and then abandoned it with Gohan.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
they 100% set it up with the Cell Saga and all that stuff, and then they just turned Gohan into, like, a little bitch. You know what I mean? Like, he's still strong, but he became an adult, and all of a sudden he sucked. And I was just
so lame. Yeah.
I was like, what? So I don't remember a lot about like Dragon Ball and stuff because I haven't really watched it in a long time. I did watch a good chunk of Super, but I didn't make it to like that final tournament arc.
Yep.
Kind of thing because I think I've talked about this before, where Goku was fighting Beerus, and like the universe was like coming apart at the seams. Mm-hmm. But then like they had another fight that should have been like similar, like not that far afterwards, and it didn't have the same effect. And I was just like, I know that this is like I understand this is Dragon Ball. I need this to make some kind of sense when it comes to like the power leveling and stuff. Like,
they gotta at least follow their own rules,
right? Like if you establish this, that's cool. Like I think this is awesome, but then like continue that, and they didn't, and it totally killed it for me. I was just like, I can't watch the same.
Yeah,
I was like, I can't do it.
I hear that. I would recommend checking out you said you watched some of the anime, right?
Yeah.
Have you watched any of the movies for Super?
No.
I would recommend checking out like the first Super movie and see what you think of that, because I think the Super movies are quite good.
Do you need to know any like background info from the anime before going into
I don't think you really need to. I think you can just go in, because like the first movie is basically summing up a lot of the like first arc of Super, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of fill in the dots in between. Yeah.
This guy's really strong. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got it. We got to beat him up. Oh man.
But yeah, that's what's new with me. Cody, what's up with you? What's new? What's going on?
I'm gonna wrap this together here with the first topic. I played the Diablo IV Beta this weekend.
Whoa.
And I had a surprisingly fun time. Played as a sorcerer. I was really disappointed that there was no necromancer or druid in this beta. I was disappointed, but so they're having another one this weekend, I believe, another beta this weekend, and I think they're unlocking necromancer and druid for that. But I'm not 100% because like I read like their FAQ for the beta, and that's kind of what it sounds like, but they didn't like outright they didn't say it outright kind of thing. So.
What were the classes that are available?
So you had barbarian, sorcerer, rogue, and I think that was it. Or I'm missing one, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But I played as a sorcerer. Bro, I can't tell you how happy I am to have fucking Blizzard cinematics back. That opening cinematic, no so I had only seen a portion of that opening cinematic, like maybe a minute of it. That was probably teased like 2 years ago. So it was when I booted the game up, it was my first time watching it, and it's that one where like Lilith has like it's like she's coming out of the womb from like the other side, and then she's like standing there, and it's like basically a cape. I was like, holy shit, it looks so good. Like I was pretty hyped at that point. And then they have like another cinematic that's not like as high tier quality, but it's still like really good, and it's like this wolf following you, but the wolf has like half of its face burned off, so you can just see the bleached bone underneath, and it has like some like etched into its forehead and this kind of stuff, and it's like that's part of the story. But the opening, like the prologue, like your first like 5 levels is super, like the storytelling is like super fun. Like, it's a great hook. I absolutely loved it. And then they nailed, like, it's not like Diablo 3, which was, like, cartoony. You know what I mean? Kind of a little bit more, like, it wasn't goofy, but it was more World of Warcrafty, right? This one is not like that. It's they hit the aesthetic, like, nail on the head, right? You know what I mean? Like, just fucking nailed it. It looks great. It's grim. It kind of reminds me. You could, if it didn't have the title Diablo, kind of reminds me of Warhammer Fantasy. Just kind of like grim. I don't want to say grim dark because that's really 40K, right? But it's just like everything's depressing. Everybody dies. There's no real hope in the world outside of like these, almost kind of like emperor type figures. Which in this one it's Anaris, and I think in the older ones it was like, I can't remember his name. But yeah, you got Anaris, which is like the big angel that's supposed to like help fight Lilith and this and the other thing. But like Lilith has like a lot of screen time too, like in between a couple story missions and like that opening cinematic. So like it's not like she's in the opening cinematic and you never hear about her. You're chasing her within like the first 5 missions.
Yeah, they put you right into
yeah,
it.
like it's not just like, oh, this big bad's out there, you know what I mean? So yeah, so I was pretty, like, the story isn't like, it's not like Game of Thrones level like fantastic, but it's very good. It's enough to keep you hooked, keep you going. And then in between that, the combat is a lot of fun. At least it is as a sorcerer. I've heard the barbarian, it kind of sucks. Because the AI...
Yeah, I saw some headline about the barbarian needing a buff or something.
Yeah, well, it's just the AI is built for, like, a lot of them will run away from you kind of thing. And so, like, you're just chasing. And the main complaint is barbarian has fury if they're not... which goes down, right? And if they're not currently in combat, they can't get it to go up. While the other classes, it's the opposite. Like, my sorcerer has a mana pool, and as I use spells, it goes down, and when I'm not using it, it goes up. So it's the exact opposite kind of thing. So, but barbarians have always been like that. I didn't play the barbarian at all. I only played the sorcerer up to level 25. But they have a lot of cool stuff. They got the open world. The dungeons were fun. They felt a little repetitive, but the devs have come out and said that, like, hey, that was intentional. We didn't, we weren't revealing everything and that kind of thing. So I'm assuming there's probably going to be some like puzzles in these dungeons going forward. There seemed to be an overworld puzzle that I couldn't figure out because it was like these statues and have like one word that was like really big, but I never found out like what those words kind of went to. Okay. So it seems like there's a little bit of puzzles to like secrets to the overworld, but the thing that I had a really fun time with, and this is kind of more of an MMO-ish. They have some MMO features. They have like group quests like that just populate onto the world, right? It'll be an orange circle on your map. You go in there, and you can have some people fight. But the thing that was really MMO-ish, they have bosses, like world bosses that pop up, and so like it was just that gigantic fucking. I don't even know what it was, but it had like 2 like big blades that came out of its fucking arms or whatever, and it was like it'd be on 4 legs. It would shoot poison out at you. It would try and bite you. But the thing that I loved the most is it had this sweeping move where it would take those big knives and like drag them across the ground, and you could see this gigantic gouge in the ground as it did this like sweeping motion. And like it was level 25, I was level 16, and I'm there with a bunch of other people and we're trying to kill it. And like it's one tapping me basically anything that it does, because it's like a 6 level difference as is, and then it's the type of monster it was kind of thing, being like that world tier or whatever. So it was one tapping me, but you can res people. They have like a little ghost spirit that comes up above the dead body and stuff or whatever. So you could res people, you could respawn. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff to it, and for a beta that I went into basically blind, right? Like I didn't really have any expectations. I was like, I pre-ordered it. If I don't like it, I'll just cancel my pre-order and get my money back. Because I mean, it is a 70, like standard edition, $75. Like this isn't like this isn't like a small purchase, you know. So like you gotta, like, games these days, you really gotta commit at full price. And I feel like Diablo, the full release, it'll be level up to level 100. And I played to level 25, and I honestly debated on making a new character to play as a different class. Like that's how much fun I was having. So I think I'll probably keep my pre-order. But yeah, man, it was just, I was very impressed. I'm hoping that Blizzard can go back to making good games again.
Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
Um, you were mentioning that wolf or whatever from the cinematic
yeah.
earlier. Tim said, "Wait, do I get a good boy in Diablo 4?"
So I'm not trying to spoil anything, but you do meet him at a at like a later point in the story, which surprised me, right? Because it didn't. There was no hint to that before prior to that. That at least that I saw. Because you can kind of do the missions out of order. I did a couple out of order on accident because I wasn't really reading the description. I was more just like I want to explore everything. Like I just run around and see what the fuck's out here. And so I felt like I did one or two maybe out of order type deal. Um, but yeah, like he just popped up in a mission, and I was like, oh, I thought you were one of the wolves that I ended up beating up because you were trying to eat my face. But no, you're an actual like story character. Okay, that's cool because it like
Nice.
talks to you and shit or whatever. And I was just like, whoa, okay, was not expecting that. Speaking of, there's a scene. He takes you through a portal, and it's like, and you're like in this hellscape. And I went to like the edge of the map because I was just kind of like looking at stuff. Actually, I forgot to mention this. I streamed Diablo over the weekend, and my mic was working in the beginning, and then apparently it cut out, and nobody was really watching, so nobody could tell me, and I didn't see that cut out. So it's still on there, and you can see this. It's probably like 40 minutes in the stream, something like that. I went to the edge of this map of this hellscape because I'm just kind of looking at stuff, and it had this like big ass looking statue dude that was in this like lava pit, and he's just like screaming, like you can't hear it, but he's like, you can see that like that's what he would be doing. I was like, yo, that's cool as shit. Like it's awful for that person, but that looks fucking
Yeah.
dope. You know what I mean? Like it had a lot of like Doom vibes being in there. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, this is real. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I said, I was super impressed. For somebody with like literally zero expectations, right? Like just seeing what it is, kind of thing. So,
Was there any cool loot that you got for your character when you played?
I will. So there is cool loot. Like I don't know if it'll be like this in the final game, but it was pretty easy to get legendary items after about level 15, and I think they probably did that to like test those items out a little bit. You know what I mean? Also a little bit more engaging when you can only go to level 25. So I want to say the items I got were like super cool. I will say the transmog system's pretty cool. Basically, if you salvage an item, um, it's almost kind of a lot like Harry Potter's transmog system, where Harry Potter you just got to pick it up, but in Diablo if you salvage it, you can go to your wardrobe, which is in like the main town, and you can change it. You have color
That's
palettes.
nice.
You have color palettes. You can mix and match color palettes. You can make it one color palette. You can like I had a knife as my main weapon, and I think it was supposed to be a book as my offhand, but I turned it into like this demon eye that I would carry,
Yeah.
right? Like you know what I mean, like because it just looked cooler and stuff like that. So yeah,
And
I was
color palettes, that's already better than Halo Infinite.
it is. The only thing I worry about, I guess, that I would say, just because I'm as much as I was impressed, I'm still a little bit cautious because of Diablo Immortal, obviously, right? Is like, are they going to monetize the color palettes? Like, if they don't, if they do, like, okay, that's not the worst thing in the world to monetize. I would rather them not, though. It would be cool if you could like pick up dyes and stuff in the world, which I didn't see any of that. Oh, and that also reminds me, there's crafting materials that you can collect on the map, so you don't have to like have skills in this, but like there's like it's like ore that you can find, right? You just click on it, it drops it, and it doesn't put it in your main inventory. It has a separate inventory for that doesn't seem to max out. And it
That's
had
nice.
yeah, it's a huge quality of life feature that I really enjoyed. And also speaking of the inventory, they went away from the old school inventory, which I can't remember if they did this in Diablo 3 or not. But I most recently played Diablo 2 with the remake. And you know how it's like Path of Exile where you got to kind of like funky shit in there, right?
Yeah, Tetris.
No, yeah, one item, one slot. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? And I think you had, I don't know, I think it was like 4 rows of 12. So whatever the fuck that is. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not a small inventory. You know, it's beefy. But, I mean, they drop stuff at a high rate. Also, something that they do, once again, I don't remember if they did this in Diablo 3, but they don't charge you for portal scrolls anymore. You just hit T, you can go back home. It's no
Nice.
big, it's no biggie kind of thing. So, yeah, like I said, super impressed. And I can't really wait to try the beta out again this weekend.
Did you have any technical issues, or did it run pretty smooth?
I would say for me, 98% of the time it ran fine. For some reason, towards the end of it, it started to run like shit. Like when I'm saying towards the end, I'm talking about like the afternoon of the last day. Yeah. And I don't know if like there was an influx of players or something, because there was a queue times. Longest queue time I had was the Friday night. I had 25 minutes, right? It wasn't anything super crazy, but I heard that there was like 2 hour queue times when it first like opened and this, that, and the other thing. Oh, yeah. Outside of that, all my queue times were like a minute. Like it wasn't.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. So, but for me, for the most part, performance-wise, it worked fine. Like I said, the last day, and honestly, it could have been I updated my NVIDIA drivers, so it could have been the new driver that was causing the issues with it, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I know Ben had a lot of issues, but he admittedly, he's talked about how old his computer is.
Older hardware.
Yeah, but he does have the minimum graphics card, kind of thing. So a little bit given or recommended. I think the recommended is the 970, and that's what he said he had. So, I mean, but yeah, for the most part, it ran super well. So yeah, like I said, it was very good time. I played it basically all weekend for
nice
4 or 5 hours since, kind of thing. It was a good time.
So you'd say it's it seems like it's shaping up to be a proper successor.
Yeah, and I think it's really good because what was not Diablo? What was Blizzard's last game before this one?
Overwatch.
Yeah, Overwatch. Like Overwatch 1 initial reception, great. His first couple of years. Recently, not so much. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I guess you could say Overwatch 2 is their most recent.
It's all Overwatch, right? You know what I mean? Like this kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think Blizzard needs this. I honestly think this genre needs it a little bit. Just a more accessible. I think it was Asmongold. What the hell is that dude's name?
Asmongold?
Yes. I think that's his name. He was talking about how maybe this is like the more accessible version of like your top-down ARPG kind of thing. Just because, like I said, the build diversity doesn't seem to be super complicated compared to like a game like Path of Exile. So maybe, so he made a really good comparison. Because he maxed out Sorcerer and Barbarian, he plays these games a lot more than I do. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's a famous streamer and stuff. So I was really interested to see what he said. But he made a really good comparison. It was something about Diablo. He compared it to a different genre, but Diablo just basically being a more accessible version of Path of Exile kind of thing. So
right. Yeah,
more casual audience a little bit. Only like real worries for the game right now is probably endgame. Like, what are they gonna do? Because Diablo 3 was running rifts and stuff like that. So, how do they spice that up a little bit? So.
Right, you gotta have something for the players to do after they complete the main storyline.
Yeah. I have a feeling though it's gonna take a little while to do the main storyline, because like they got side missions in there too that you can find on the overworld, and then there's a lot. There's just a lot. There's a lot of content, even in just the little piece that we saw. So, and the map's huge.
Sounds promising.
Yeah, honestly, if you're willing to look, it's $75. So I'm not gonna tell anybody you gotta buy it. Like, I don't think there's gonna be any game I'm ever gonna tell anybody at this point that you need to buy, because it is such a commitment at that price range. But if you have $75 and you like your top-down ARPG, I think you'll probably like Diablo. The new one is.
There's one of these beta weekends is like open beta to anybody, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I know you could get a beta code. I didn't know this until after I already pre-ordered it, but apparently you could get a beta code by going to KFC and ordering this really unhealthy chicken sandwich where the bread was chicken with chicken between it, like craziness.
Didn't IGN have some like bad reporting where they made it sound like that was the only way you could get access to the beta?
Oh, they might have. They might have had something crazy like that. So
goofy.
Yeah, good time though. Good time.
Good.
Oh, Tim has the name of the angel that I couldn't think of earlier. Tyrell. I can't.
Gyrail?
Yeah, I can't remember. But it's in the
Angel
chat there.
Face.
Angel Face. Yeah, there you go.
So we're talking about successors to big, huge, popular video games. Have you ever heard of a game called Counter-Strike?
A game that I haven't probably played in a decade, but is the most popular game on Steam. Yes, I've heard of Counter Strike.
I did not know that they're developing a game called Counter-Strike 2 until earlier today, and it's coming out this summer.
Yeah, I'm excited for this, but I can't help but notice that it's Counter Strike 2, even though it's the 4th iteration of Counter Strike.
Yes. So first we had Counter-Strike.
Yeah, which
and
was
then
a mod.
Counter-Strike Source,
Yep.
where it was on its own engine,
Yep.
doing its own thing. And then now we have CSGO, Global Offensive, which is hugely popular.
100%.
Most played game on Steam.
Yep.
And now we're going to get number 2.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike number 2.
Because they don't make
The 4th
threes.
game in the series.
They don't make threes in this.
That's Valve's thing, dude.
Right?
No threes. Never.
We'll get a Steam Deck 2 and then a Steam Deck 4. There'll never be a 3. It's like what's that game that they skipped 2 and went straight to 3? The Goat Simulator? Was that who did it?
Is that? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Same thing's gonna happen. But yeah, man, I'm not a CS Counter-Strike player in general, because I'm just not that sweaty. I'm just not. But I think they're doing some super cool stuff. Specifically the smoke grenades.
Yes, dude. So currently,
right,
smoke grenades in most games, I would say, you throw a smoke grenade out, and it begins emitting usually like a 2D visual effect, right? Or what resembles like 3-dimensional smoke. But it's always like client side, so you might think that you're in cover and no one can see you, and from their point of view they can see your stupid legs right there and they just blow your legs off and kill you, and that kind of thing creates frustration. So what they're doing with their new smoke in this is they're going back to some technology that we've had for a while but we haven't seen utilized very much, with volumetric smoke. So it's actually, when you throw the smoke grenade, the smoke is made up of like actual objects, right? And visually it just looks like smoke, but it's actually like modeled and like represented on the server side, so everyone sees the same thing, and you can interact with it. So they showed some examples of like players moving through the smoke and like the smoke moving with them. A player shot through the smoke with a rifle, and you just see a poof, and then the smoke closes back up. I thought that was really cool.
It's super dope.
I don't know all the how useful any of that's going to be, but it's really cool to see. Apparently,
you're going to be able to clear it with a frag grenade.
Yeah.
Which I thought, I was like, yo, that's dope as fuck. You threw a smoke grenade, fuck your smoke. And you just throw a grenade, throw a frag at it, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Like, okay.
Right. And from a gameplay standpoint, too, that's like, okay, they've spent their resources on this smoke grenade. You can actually counterplay by throwing a frag at it or something, instead of just being like, well, fuck, now there's smoke there. Now we just have to deal with it.
Right, yeah.
So that's cool, too.
Yeah, they got that, and then the new tick system, which I'm going to be honest, I'd never heard of this prior. So I watched the video on it, and I was very impressed. I'll let you talk about it, because you probably explained it better than I can. But
yeah, so it's really usually just like a big thing in shooter video games, right? So when you're playing on a server, the server is basically updating all of the information that it receives from all of the clients at a certain rate, and that's referred to as the tick rate. And that's one of the things that people really liked about Valorant, is it had a higher tick rate base than CSGO. So if you have a lower tick rate, you may notice inconsistencies in your gameplay where you're like, wow, I thought I shot that person before they shot me. Well, maybe you did, but because of the tick rate, the server said, you're dead. So Valve is developing a whole new fucking tick technology, basically, where instead of the server just checking at these intervals, it's going to track each player's actions within the interval ticks. And basically, like, the server can look at that information and accurately feed that information to all of the clients. So theoretically, it's going to be like infinitely more accurate than the current tick rates that we have right now.
Yeah.
Which sounds pretty cool, man. Because I've definitely, like, playing Rainbow Six and stuff, I've had those moments where I'm like, pretty sure I shot them.
Yeah.
And they should be dead, but
Yeah.
I am dead.
Yeah, I feel like that's in every shooter, right?
Yeah.
Halo is a big one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because of the network issues and stuff from that. But, like, Battlefield, any of those, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you've
I think
had that
anyone
moment.
who's played a shooter has had that moment, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I'm pretty sure he should be dead, but I guess I'm dead. Fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On to the next
So,
life. Yeah.
Hopefully that's some cool technology that, unlike the Nemesis system, hopefully Valve doesn't just, like, patent it and, like, not let anybody use it.
Right? Fuck.
I'd be curious to see how that works out, because that sounds cool. I also wonder if something, I don't know if, like, fighting games operate on something like that as well, but I know
they should.
Fighting games need some, like, super good connectivity to work well. So maybe that'll help there too.
Might as well. If you ain't playing local on fighting games, like, it's fucked up.
It's rough.
Yeah.
So. Absolutely.
And then also some people are gonna be able to play test that. You got to open your own CS:GO account or go into CS:GO.
Yeah, you have to, like, log into the game, and there will be, like, a notification if you can join or whatever.
Which is kind of a pain in the ass. Like, why wouldn't they just push it to your email or just to your account, right? Because I've seen that happen too. I had that happen actually recently, like a game I didn't even own. They were just like, "Yeah, you want to play our beta? It's in your library." I was like,
shit.
I forget what game it was.
A little invasive, but thank you.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was Operation something. Where'd it go? Oh, did I hide it? I might have.
What kind of game is this?
It was like it's like Hell Let Loose. Operation Harsh Doorstep.
Yeah.
It was just in my library, and I had a notification about it, and they were just like, "Come play," and I tried it for like 10 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, so this is a less graphically appealing and not as hyped version of Hell Let Loose. I will play Hell Let Loose." You know, so nothing against those devs. Like,
sure.
I thought that was cool, but yeah, that's just kind of was a little bit of a thought process. So.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. I've never been that into CS:GO. I like kind of more. I don't know. CS:GO is just so plain compared to other shooters for me.
My favorite thing that came out of CS:GO is gun game. I fucking love that game mode. I always have,
dude.
And I like it when new FPSs adopt it because it's just
so fucking.
It's just a good time. You know what I mean? Like,
and yeah, most recent Halo Infinite update added they call theirs Escalation Slayer or something.
Yeah,
it's just such a good game mode. Every game it's in.
Yeah, it's just should be a standard in FPS games in my opinion. Just honestly, start with that with your multiplayer mode. Just start with
it. You need a good, fun multiplayer mode.
Yep.
There it is.
Especially as an FFA, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's perfect for that. Because I don't feel like people play FFA as much as they play, like, the team-based stuff.
For sure.
So, it'd be a good way to, get some folks in that. But, but we're talking about new technologies. We finally, we saw Senua... Hell Sacrifice 2 finally in a fucking tech demo.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, we were talking about how we haven't heard anything about Hellblade.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's Senua's face on the big screen at Unreal's event, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of crazy because there is no news about Hellblade 2, right? Literally zero.
Radio silence for years.
But they did show this cool new mocap tech, basically, where, and I don't know if it's just for facial. I guess they only showed off facial animation, but you just need an iPhone, and you can now have like fully, like, you don't need anything else. You just need an iPhone and a stand, basically, to make sure there's no shaking. And this new technology called MetaHuman will watch like your actor do what they need to do for their scene, and then they'll build a model off of it. And they only got to, this is the only time they ever have to build the model. And within like 2 minutes, they'll have that scene ready to go and just ready to import into a game. And it doesn't even, and the model doesn't even have to look like the actor, right? Like in Hellblade, the female protagonist looks a lot like the actual actress, right? But they showed it off. They put it on like some Asian lady, a fucking kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have that
a black
like
chick,
stylized, almost cartoony character.
Yeah. Like they just showed it, like everything that the lady had just been saying. They showed it across her model and then 3 other models. And I was like, and this was all, the video is literally 5 minutes long. And there's like 2 minutes of introduction. So like this is, it was really fast.
It was, yeah. So I was really surprised that they just did this live. They literally brought her out, set up this iPhone, and they had a computer over here. Literally, she recorded like a few seconds of dialogue and like some like facial expressions, and boom, they imported it in. They had these pre-made face models ready to go. They applied those models, and it was incredible how accurately this technology captures that. Just like, wow.
Yeah, you know, it was actually kind of funny, and I'm not trying to like pick on her or anything, but when they were showing her like angry face, I noticed that like her bottom lip was like different from her top, like really, like it was like not going the same way you would think normally for like angry, and I wasn't sure if that was the mocap or her kind of thing,
right?
But it was like the only like oddity out of the whole thing, you know what I mean? Like the rest of it was, and it was just a small section. Like I'm literally pointing at it, but it was just like
them tweaking anything.
Yeah, they literally did nothing.
Raw import, boom.
Right? So it was super impressive, and I'm really curious, like how much dev time that will save, right? Because she mentioned in the thing that it would take months between scenes before, and now you can use this new technology, and it's just like, oh, could we do this like a movie almost now, where like we can do all these scenes and have them done, and just then like
them,
and then just like have that ready to go, and then you can do the other stuff, like all your gameplay mechanics and all this stuff on the back end. Like I don't know, I don't game dev, but that's just kind of like seems like a possibility now. Like so you get like 3 months of filming, right, while you film out the whole story piece of this fucking game, and like side quests, right? You know what I mean? Like I don't know, it's just.
Yeah, it sounds super cool. I'm excited to see if this is something that will be more widely adapted, because they had these really like very advanced facial reading and capture for the original Hellblade, and even today that game looks really good. But you really didn't see that technology adopted into a lot of other games. But I think this now, with the way that it's like a huge like pipeline shrink for development, I think we'll see it a lot more. And I wonder if this is going to be a tool that's going to be used by like indie devs as well to make shit, because that could really like bring up the quality of the faces a lot.
Right. I'm curious. So I wonder if it only works on Unreal, because this is an Unreal technology, right? So
yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would assume it only works on Unreal, and like, to be fair, Unreal 5, I feel like, and once again, no game dev here, so I don't pay a whole lot of attention to this, but like, it feels like the only next gen engine out there right now, right? That's made for the current console generation and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
and I just feel like they're just widening the gap, right? All the time, because like they showed this, but then they showed this next thing or whatever, which Fortnite's like, I really like your comparison here, but about Fortnite getting the Roblox treatment with an Unreal editor, right?
Yeah.
And now you can make they call them they're called islands in this new editor, but you can make these islands that directly port to Fortnite, and like anybody can play. You know, like.
Well, yeah. Currently in Fortnite's current creative mode, islands are these experiences that people create. It sounds like with this new editor, you're gonna be able to just create your own entire fucking games in Fortnite.
Yeah, yeah. It did when I was reading on their page, and it does seem like it's going to be a little limited, to where it made me think that like, if you wanted to make like a whole game, it might have to be episodic. You know what I mean? Where like there's going to be limitations to how much you can put in a single island kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like Game Pass in the way of, you have a built-in 500 million players that play Fortnite, that like if you really wanted like, and when we're talking about making a game, like it's legit, like you can make a game that 90% of it doesn't look like Fortnite. Like the character models are still going to look like Fortnite, the movement's still going to look like Fortnite, but they had like, and I don't play Fortnite, so I could be a little bit off here, but they had like a samurai warrior with a dragon flying through a cave and stuff, and like it didn't look like, a little cartoony, but didn't look like Fortnite at all.
No,
in my opinion.
definitely an entirely different aesthetic.
Right.
Because yeah, it sounds like people are gonna have access to the Unreal library. So whatever is available in Unreal, which they've created a lot of assets for this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is available today as well. It's available right now for people to get in and mess with for free, I believe. But yeah, anything in Unreal, like you can go buy packs of things.
Yep.
Boom, pop them in.
Yep.
And I think all the Fortnite content is just available.
Speaking of that, did you hear about that? There's a new Souls-like game coming out, and the studio was getting tore up because they had an animation that looked like it was directly from Elden Ring, kind of thing. And come to find out, the animation was from like a store. It was a store asset. And they had bought it and put it in the game, so like they didn't do anything wrong, but they got so like ate up by like the community that they just removed it anyways. And it's just nuts. Like, yeah, it's super shitty because they like, what, FromSoft can buy the asset but we can't and use it, like fuck you guys. And plus it's just like, it was like a sword move, it was like a sword swing kind of thing, like super, like it looks exactly the same. But it's no different than fucking what's that game that came out recently? Wild Hearts? Is that the game that came out that has like Fortnite building with Monster Hunter?
God, what was that? Maybe that's what it was. I can't remember.
Is it Wild Heart? Oh, Tim knows what I'm talking about. The game's called Bleak Faith. But
the copy game. Yeah,
the game that copied, just bought an asset. It's stupid. But anyways, like Wild Heart, I think it's Wild Heart, has an animation from a boss fight that looks 1-to-1. Like, I'm not even joking. They showed it side by side to a boss fight in Monster Hunter. Like, it literally looks exactly the same. Barely heard anything about it. But you fuck with Elden Ring, and that's it.
You stay the fuck away from
dude.
Software.
Yeah, dude. From Software is God right now. They are CD Projekt Red levels of God before they release Cyberpunk. That's where we're at right now. So,
yeah, I think that they're probably the hottest dev studio right 100%. Now.
And I hope they continue to be that way. I hope they don't run into the same issues. But we will see. Time will tell. But yeah, random tangent. But yeah. So this new technology that they're not new technology, but this new program that they're coming out with it's supposed to be really ease of use for everybody, right? It's a programming language called Verse, which is designed to be accessible to new programmers, specifically, like we said, for Fortnite. So if you don't know anything about game dev, you don't need to. You can just learn this kind of thing.
Yeah, this does feel like a really good thing for people to be able to just like jump in and try it out.
Yeah.
If you're interested, because it's all just right there. So
Well, and the other piece about this is like this isn't. I would say game dev at this point is probably the easiest it's ever been because there's multiple things like Verse that's out there, like because the I don't know if you guys remember we talked about the Epic Game Store has a thing called Core, which is very similar to like what they're talking about with Fortnite here, right? Where it's just like it's got its own built-in like creator mode basically, and it's got preset stuff for different like third-person action game or whatever, or like first-person game or whatever that you can go and create your own stuff, and that's what the whole experience is. It's just people making their own stuff, and you go in there and you try it out, and you can like there was a when I tried it out a little bit, there was an Attack on Titan thing from like day one. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But you could fly like they had made an asset that looked like the things on your hip, and you could fly around and like fight the big monster thingies or whatever. Like, and it was
They're
cool.
in Fortnite right now, by the way.
Are they in Fortnite right now?
Attack on Titan's in Fortnite.
Oh
now.
my god, what is it in Fortnite? I think it's a shorter list at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's popular, is Demon Slayer in Fortnite?
Not yet.
It's next. Almost guaranteed.
Next. Yeah,
Almost guaranteed
that'd be
it's
an easy
next.
one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then I guess on top of this, Epic is starting a profit sharing program with creators, which 40% of Fortnite global net revenue will be shared out. That's a lot.
Yeah, dude. They basically talked about how they check the stats of who spends the most money in the like Fortnite store, and it is players who spend time on these custom islands that people are already creating.
Right.
So the dude was like, y'all are already generating us money by making shit.
Right.
So we're gonna include you. They didn't put too much details out in regards to how this is going to work, but they make a fuck ton of money on that Fortnite store. So taking 40% of that and just like spreading it out to anybody who's making shit, that's pretty cool of them.
Them V-Bucks, man. Isn't that what they're called? V-Bucks?
the in-game currency.
Yeah. Everybody gonna have all their V-Bucks all ready to go. But yeah, I mean, I as much as I've hated it, like I've dunked on Epic a lot in the past when it comes to like their store and stuff. But I will say that the one thing they have done really good for the space is they've really fought to make like the pay quality better, right? And I feel like this is a step in that direction too. I mean, you're a 60-40 split with the biggest gaming franchise that's not Pokemon on the planet. You know what I mean? Like that's just can't really complain about that. You know, like that's a cool. That's a cool. I meant to say a really cool move by I believe it's Tom Sweeney who runs Epic, right? Tom?
I don't know.
I can't remember. The guy who runs Epic. It's a cool move by him. You know, so
definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I just as much as I don't like Fortnite, I might download this and try it out. Just for shits and gigs.
Sweeney.
Tim Sweeney.
Thanks, Tim.
Of course, Tim would remember his own name.
Cody, you just said you're gonna download Fortnite. Now we just got to get Tim in on it, and I'll trick you guys.
I just want to
playing the game instead of developing shit for it.
You got to play it to learn to develop, right?
That's another cool thing about this tool that they're creating is not only can you like Halo Forge style collaboratively make shit with other players,
right?
But you can also just instantly go from creative mode to playing in it to test in real time, or you can be in create mode and have people in it testing shit as you're doing it.
Right. Oh, I wanted to bring up, you know what Fortnite reminds me of, or I think a game that would have, probably could have hurried along their own development, would have been Pal World because it looks a lot like this.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
seeing those like cute creatures with M16s is very Fortnite.
Yeah. Well, that and then like you already got the gun mechanics. I kind of feel like they shoot the same, right? Like the mechanics
looks pretty similar. Yeah.
Look a lot like really similar. So I don't know. Like when I originally saw it, when I was watching the video, I was like, they could have made Pal World in this and probably like sped up development. You know what I mean? Pretty fast. You honestly. Know. Yeah. So. But yeah, I don't know. Pal World, for those of you who don't know, is like a crazy Pokemon thing, and there's guns, and there's people that are putting these fucking Pokemon looking things to work, like in the mines and shit, and
Yeah,
it's wild, dude.
That trailer is nuts.
Like Doki V looks like LSD. This looks like just complete nonsense. Like let's just mishmash anything that's like dark about the Pokemon franchise and just throw it together. And there's guns. Like it's just fucking weird. So I'm excited for it though.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it does. So
you know what I'm not excited for?
I know you're about to tell me.
The elimination of all of the 3DS and Wii U eShop games because the fucking store is closing on the 27th of this month, 5 days from now.
I've been really debating and going back and buying all the Pokemon games on there that are on there. Only because, not because I can't acquire those games other ways and play them on my Steam Deck. But if I ever wanted to, like, if I wanted to be super dedicated and I wanted to bring a Pokemon all the way from Red to the current gen, like, I would have to own all those fucking games. So I've been thinking about it. I have
definitely a flow chart somewhere where it's like a zigzag of like a million different game transfers.
I think it's Austin John Plays recently. I think I was listening to him a video describing how to get Mew all the way from Gen 1 all the way to however far you can get it right now. I think it's Sword and Shield. I don't even think you can get them in the new one yet. And it's just like, and they have like an indicator if they're from the original game. And
really?
Yeah. And it, like if you bring it forward far enough, there's a little indicator. But I almost have a feeling that those Pokemon might actually start getting sold for fucking money, right? Just to be like, just for clout, you know what I mean? Kind of it kind of reminds me of like, well, kind of, yeah. It reminds me a lot of a CS:GO skin, right? Like it's gonna be so hard to acquire that, you know what I mean? Like just like the Pokemon cards, you know what I mean? Like if you get far enough away from a set, they jump in price, you know.
That's value.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the whole store is closing, and then Gerard, the completionist, bless this man. I heard him talk about this on the Friends Per Second podcast. He spent $22,791 and bought every game and DLC on the store, which turned out to be. I'm glad you wrote this in here. 866 Wii U games. 1,547 3DS games, 1.2 terabytes on which turned into 1.2 terabytes on the Wii U, and 267 gigabytes on the 3DS. It took him 328 days and 464 eShop cards. There's also, he was talking about this on the podcast, there is a shadow limit that you can spend on the store every fucking day. And it's about $1,500. And he was on the phone with Nintendo support almost every day because they're like, is this you? This seems like a fucking money laundering scam. Like, they're just like, they're grilling the shit out of him, dude.
Dude, yeah, I watched his video, and there's so many fucking roadblocks. Like, they would go to, like, GameStop, and they would only let them buy so many cards because they have, like, a limit on how many cards an individual can purchase. Like, so there's just, like, constant problems that they ran into, and that's another thing was you could only have, I think it was, like, 300 games on your console at once. There was like a limited number of like little tiles,
right?
So you'd have to like install it and then like move it over to like different storage, and yeah, it was just nuts hearing all of the trials and tribulations,
right?
So yeah, at first I was like 328 days, that sounds fucking crazy, but then hearing all the shit they had to go through just to spend their money on these games was wild to me.
Literally took a year, basically.
Yeah, dude.
like just God, like 30 days short of a year, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it took him to do this. Bless that man. I don't blame him. He did say on the Friends Per Second podcast, he said, if the PlayStation store or the 360 store or whatever ever closes, y'all on your fucking own. He's like, I'm never doing this again.
I did my part.
Yeah, he's like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, I think that's really cool that they managed to like they did whatever some sponsored videos on the channel to raise the money to be able to afford this, and they did
Yeah.
all this planning ahead of time to see if they could do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, every game and all the DLC for the games, which for like a lot of the 3D, I think all the 3DS games, to buy the DLC, you can't just go to the eShop and see the game and see the DLC for it. You have to launch the game and access the DLC purchase from within the games.
Oh, hell
so they had
no.
to go in there and fucking manually do that. Fucking crazy. But
Bless
you
that,
know,
man.
that's a big W for game preservation. Like somebody out there has this shit. Thank goodness.
Right.
And you know, that's a thing that we talk about a lot is video game preservation. And fucking Nintendo really feels like they're really against this.
Right.
After watching this video and seeing how much bullshit he had to go through to get these things. And I know there's a God, I should have put this in the doc. There's something going on right now where they are, I'm gonna butcher this. It has to do with libraries being able to store like digital copies of like video games. And currently with like DMCA laws and stuff, it's largely not possible. But there's a review for it coming up this month where they're hoping to expand the limits on it. I would love to like link that or say anything that makes sense about that.
Right.
But I can't remember any of it, so I will say the Video Game History Foundation is a very important resource, and they just launched a Patreon. So if you're interested, you can look them up and either donate to them or sign up for their Patreon to help them out with their beautiful mission of video game preservation.
Well, that is an awesome thing. I'm trying to think how to say this, because I don't feel like their mission is a bad mission, but I've always kind of felt like with video games, when there's a will, there's a way. You know what I mean? For a lot of games these days anyways, right? Where as long as you don't need to be connected to the internet all the time, you could probably figure out a way to play it on your computer. You know, if you're willing to do the work, there's probably
but
a
even
way.
that, you know, that's depending on people having those games.
Yeah.
You know, someone's got to have it.
Well, I will say I found a very large library of games just on the internet. So there's a lot out there, but it's obviously not everything. So, like I said, you know, I think the mission is pure. It's just. But there's still ways to do it. I hope that they can have a way. It would be cool if like the Video Game History Foundation could eventually maybe they have those games. Hey, can I get a copy of said game from you? You know what I mean? But I don't think that'll ever happen just because there's so many companies and stuff involved with nonsense like that. Yeah. But I think it would be a great thing to have, right? Like after X time frame or whatever, like it just defaults to the Video Game History Foundation, and then they can not even necessarily sell it. Maybe they just give it out for free. You know what I mean? And just allow people to have it.
Yeah, it's a big thing with like DMCA, and it's like currently they're like, it's fine if you want to have physical copies of all of these. And they're like, yeah, but what about when those break down and get destroyed and then we don't have them? Can we have digital copies?
Right.
No.
Yeah,
you cannot.
They're like,
because
fuck off.
Then anyone can just waltz online and play them and just enjoy them. Like, no, we're actually planning on like restricting these to people who are actually studying video games in school and stuff. And they're like, bullshit. They're just gonna game out and have a great time and not buy the new version of Super Mario because they're enjoying this 80-year-old version.
It just sounds like a bunch of boomers, right? Like
yeah,
it just
absolutely.
It's just like, my bottom line. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could always just resell that game on your new store. That's
like
make
it available. Just make it available.
Yeah. People will still buy it, I promise. Specifically, Pokemon, I'm looking at you. Like,
Oh, God, dude.
and Tim actually brought up in the chat there, we didn't have this in the doc, and Pokemon is continuing to disappoint in the many ways that it does, and they brought in an NFT consultant.
Yeah, I saw Tim mention that. I didn't look into it.
I saw that, and I went, more disappointment, and then I scrolled. I was like, I don't even want to read more than that. I just, if I will say there's any franchise already set up for that, it's Pokemon, because they can basically just start making their cards NFTs. So
here's what they can do, right? They can have each Pokemon that's generated in each game tied to an NFT.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But then, right, eliminate IV training.
Bro.
Because then if a Pokemon has like max IV stats, it's going to be worth like $1 million to somebody.
Here's my they need to get rid of it. Look, I was already talking about this. They just got to get rid of that whole system. Get rid of the levels, right? Lean into the crafting hardcore. You know what I mean?
Dude.
I mentioned it last week.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking to evolve Pokemon, they could add in like a ritual-esque system, you know what I mean, where it just leans harder into the crafting. Like, I don't know. I have ideas. I don't have skills, but I have ideas. So, yeah. I don't know.
Pokemon's got to shift.
Yeah.
Needs to make some new moves.
I will say, I can't be disappointed with the things that they've tried over the past few years, right? Because it was all the stuff I was talking about. I want to go to that mountain and go explore that mountain and find those Pokemon that are native to that region, right? You can do that now. It just looks like shit, right? Like, there's just the graphical fidelity is not... There's no fidelity in the graphics, right? They're pixels. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, I'm ranting. Something that might make some of you happy is the fact that you don't have to listen to me rant. You can actually now have a pink-haired lady help you with your taxes. Anime pink-haired lady help you with your taxes. Yes. Look, if you put your social security number into this fucking game, which is literally a game about helping you do your taxes with an anime chick, you deserve to get kicked in the head. They are going to steal your identity. Like, what are you doing?
Dude, the fact that there's a anime visual novel that goes through how to do your 2022 tax return really speaks to the state of the tax system in America and how fucked it is.
Man. Hey, I will tell you what. I was trying to do my taxes last week, and not to get like too in the weeds, but I did a 1031 exchange when I sold my condo and to get my duplex that's here in Wichita kind of thing. And that's called a like-kind exchange. Basically, it's a tax deferment because I moved it from one property to the next. So I'm not supposed to pay on any of those proceeds, right? And I went to my local tax office that I've gone through the past 2 years since I got to the base, because they do it for free on base. And they tried to tell me I made $177,000 last year. And that I had to pay back in taxes. I was like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am, I did not make if I made $177,000 last year, I would have no problem paying you taxes. But I did not. Like, you know what I mean? I was just like, and I was like,
man,
yeah,
someone else could have got.
Well, the thing is like it's so confusing that you have to go to these places for them to explain it to you. And the only reason I know about my stuff is because I did this process. The lady that was doing my taxes had never heard about what a 1031 was, and had to call over another lady, and then they had to call over another lady. You know what I mean? And it was just like it was a whole fucking
really
mess.
Knows.
Yeah,
no one really knows what the fuck is going on.
Dude. And the worst part is the government knows exactly how much money you should get and or be paying.
Yes, dude. I was reading about how like in some countries they literally like go to a government website, double check that nothing looks wrong, and just like sign off on it.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not what it is here in America. That's what lobbying does for you.
Fucking absolutely, dude.
Okay,
TurboTax out there.
Yeah. All right, we're getting too political. Either way, look, pink-haired anime waifu will help you do your taxes. I still say if you put your social security number into that, you deserve to get your identity stolen. There's no way this is legal. Like, there's just no way. Like, if they could skip the social security part and you just put in like the numbers of like how much you made and it like walked you through it, so then you could do it on an official like program, totally different. The first picture that everybody is showing on these articles is, what's your social security number? No. No.
Yeah, Tax Heaven 3000 is the game. Definitely looking forward to the reviews on that one.
Yeah, I there's a part of me that wants to get it just to see. Like, the curiosity is getting to me a little bit. But I also got hit with a $4,400 bill for my car today, so I will not be doing that. Like, yeah. I will find somebody streaming it because I'm sure somebody will. Or there'll be a YouTube video about it, and so I can go check it out. But yeah, I mean, look, anime waifus for everybody. There's gonna be one out there for you eventually. Just gotta keep waiting.
If it's not tax preparation waifu, I'm sure there will be something.
Yeah, there'll be something out there for you. I mean, they got PS5 waifus and stuff too. Like, this is fucking crazy. Anyways, you got some closing thoughts, man. We've been on for just over an hour.
Yeah, I do. Sonic Frontiers is getting its first free update tomorrow.
Yes.
And it includes photo mode.
Okay, I have a question, and I'm not trying to be mean.
Okay.
But it does, like, Sonic didn't look like the like prettiest game. So like, is there things to actually take photos of in this game?
Yes, but you have to understand the difference between high graphical fidelity and good art style.
Okay. All right.
Sonic Frontiers does have a good art style, and
Right.
there are definitely really cool things to take pictures of, but it's definitely not Elden Ring.
Or Ghost of Tsushima, because that's the game I always think of when it comes to photo mode. Like, Ghost of Tsushima.
I spent so much time in that.
Bro, I don't even like photo mode, and I took pictures in Ghost of Tsushima.
It was fun. It was really well designed and like simple to use.
Simple to use, and
in depth too.
Anything you took a picture of looked fucking fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, this is wallpaper. This is what this is.
Absolutely. That's my PS4 wallpaper right now, is a picture I took in photo mode in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is my like my live background page or whatever that I have on my PlayStation. Still my favorite game ever. Number one game I've ever played.
So fucking
Sony, make that into a TV show or a movie. Or a movie.
That could be a cool adaptation.
Dude, I think that game
I just finished watching
movie.
The Last of Us, and that was a good adaptation. Hopefully we'll get some more good video game adaptations.
Look, man, I really want to play The Last of Us. I really do.
Have you never played it?
I've never played it.
Oh.
I want the bundle. I've been waiting 3 years for a bundle, and they came out with a remaster instead. You motherfuckers. Like, stop being so expensive.
I never played the second one, and I never intend to.
I heard it ruined a lot for folks.
The first one just had a really good ending, and I was like, I'm good.
Oh, like it was like a legit story with a good beginning, middle, end kind of thing, and didn't need a continuation type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like the sequel is them just stretching it out for like no reason.
Yeah. Well, and then you had like the wokeness nonsense for the plot of the second one. I don't know if you remember all the hoopla around that.
I really don't.
Yeah, so just walk down memory lane real quick. And the only reason I remember this is because I was playing Remnant with my cousin, and he was losing his mind about it. But basically, there are themes in there that, I would say that most conservative folks in America aren't fans of. And the whole plot leaked online like a month before the game came out.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how people found out about it. And then it also leaked the death of a certain character that happens early in the game. And people were not happy. They were not happy.
Let's just say what it is. People didn't want to play as a female protag. Okay.
Well, that, and I think, I don't remember. Once again, I played the games, so I'm going off memory here of when this was like a hot topic. I think there was like a transgender character in there too that people weren't a fan of and stuff like that. I could be totally wrong. That's was what I remember. So there was that. I don't know if it's so much a female pro tag, but that could also be part of it because I know some people feel weird about that kind of thing, and I'm like, Hellblade, like,
there's so many good
right,
tags.
or what's her nuts from Horizon, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Aloy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any issues with it, but anyway.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you don't need to wait for a bundle, Cody. You can just buy the remaster.
But I want to play them both. That's like I want the whole story because they're gonna make a season 2. Like they've already confirmed season 2 of The Last of Us is coming. So
yeah,
I would like to enjoy that with everybody else, but I would like to also play the games first. But they're not like Sony. Just put them in a bundle. I will pay $80 for both of them. And I think that's fair. It doesn't even have to be the remaster. It can just be the original at this point, right? But I would $140 for those 2 games. I give you 80, please.
Please.
God.
Cody, do you have any closing thoughts for tonight?
I did have one, and I think I just lost it because I was ranting about The Last of Us. Fuck. My closing thought. I bought 2042.
I saw you playing it.
I've been dipping the toe into it a little bit. You know, I was like $17. Like, if it sucks, it sucks. Like, it's not breaking my bank. It's not 70, right? You know what I mean? So, and you want to know what, bro? It's Battlefield now. Like with the classes back, like it's Battlefield. Like, you're not. I don't know. If you've played a Battlefield, it's like every other Battlefield. It's just updated. It's got some cool new stuff, but it's just fun to play. Like, just get in there and play a Battlefield game that's new. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I downloaded the game when it was free to try just recently, but I never got around to playing it during that week. And I played the original open beta that they had for the game with my friends, and we had a great time.
Yeah.
We didn't have any of the issues that other people were experiencing.
Right.
And then the game came out, and I was like, all right, are we buying this? And everyone was like, no, dude, this game is shit. And I was like, oh, okay.
What, Justin, if you buy it, I will play it with you. At $17, like, yeah. But if you don't buy it either, it's kind of whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just at the price point it's at. It's just easy for me to jump in, like, kill some people for 30, 45 minutes, drop out, and that's what I appreciate about it. I'm not really looking for more than that, so I'm not disappointed. You know what I mean? Anybody who is looking for more than that at this point, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. So that's kind of on you.
They have stated they've already lined up their last update for the game, and they're not going to continue to support it after like a year.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Like,
yeah, very bad reception. So
what
can you do?
Just move on to the next one. So, but yeah, I've been playing it. It's not bad, but I'd rather play Diablo. I can't. Diablo doesn't. Diablo doesn't come out till June. That's the fucking problem. That's the problem. Wait. Yeah, and so I'm hoping that by the time it comes out, it's gonna, like, any issues that people are having with it will be smoothed out and stuff. Because I think that's a game. Once again, if you have the money and you're willing to make that commitment, I think you'll be very happy with the purchase. So, but if you want something cheap, just get Battlefield right now, and you'll just kill some bitches for a little bit. So, anyways, all right.
It's that easy.
It is. Anyways, we've been going a little bit over an hour. We will hopefully all 3 of us be back next week. Tim is, like we said, sick. I'm hoping he's not sick in a week. So,
yeah, Tim, get better.
Yeah, get better. Get some sleep. If you're not sleeping already because you've been typing in the chat. So, but anyways, we'll be back next Wednesday at about 10 p.m. ish, 2200 for those who know military time. And every Wednesday, we're always here, even if it's just 2 of us.
That's right. We make it work.
We do. Anyways, we love you. We will see you next week. Bye. Bye.